When the air raid siren sounded at 6:22 p.m. on Sunday, November the 24th, it was the 338th alert of the war. Mr. Lloyd loudly blew his whistle, and we all straggled slowly out of the house and into the garden. We came somewhat reluctantly and complainingly, but without fear. It had been a typical lazy November Sunday. There'd been bread and jam for tea, with real butter instead of margarine, for this was our Sunday treat. We approached the shelter in a calm and orderly manner. Mr. Lloyd rubbed his hands in anticipation as he started his speech. There is one sacred, unbreakable rule. His voice tailed away. Suddenly the air was heavy with the drone of German bombers. The searchlights frantically scanned the skies. The anti-aircraft guns clattered into action. I stood fascinated and fearless because I knew exactly what to expect. I knew what was coming. Mr. Lloyd had told me so many times and explained it all very clearly at the breakfast table. Jerry won't come over by here. We're bloody bristling with bloody barrage balloons and bloody guns. Jerry knows we'll just blow him out of the fucking sky. Within moments, everything had changed. 1 minute there was complete darkness. The next, the city was illuminated by the falling parachute flares. I stood there holding Mum's hand and waited for Jerry to come falling out of the sky. Instead, the first high explosive bomb fell. It sounded close, and Mr. Lloyd's confidence disappeared in a flash. Fuck me. He stood motionless, seemingly transfixed to the spot. 2 more bombs fell in quick succession. Don't just stand there. Get in the shelter. Mrs. Lloyd took control. I don't know what happened to the one sacred unbreakable rule, the women and children first. But the next thing I saw was Mr. Lloyd disappearing into the shelter. He was quickly followed by Mr. Williams and Mr. Edwards. The 3 wives then dived in. Mrs. Lloyd was last. She only just fitted through the narrow opening, and she left me with a mental picture of skirts, petticoats, stockings, suspenders, knickers and cellulite. The door snapped shut. Another bomb fell and my mother gave a little scream and jumped like a startled rabbit. Get in the holes under the stairs! Mr. Lloyd's muffled voice shouted. He was back in charge. I only wish that my vocabulary was wide enough to adequately describe the terror of the night. We sat in total darkness and it rained bombs on Bristol. My sister slept, and my mother drew her knees up to her chest, covered her ears with her hands and rocked slowly backwards and forwards. She started singing, quietly at first, but then louder as the bombing increased in intensity. She sang the same song, over and over again. She sang for 6 hours. She sang her favourite song of the moment. The other night, dear, as I lay sleeping, I dreamt I held you in my arms. When I awoke, dear, I was mistaken, so I hung my head and I cried.